it's Kira and welcome to another video. Today is Thursday the 1st of October 2020, which means that it is officially the start of spooky season. We are on the run up to Halloween and I'm sure many of you are just as excited by that fact as I am. And so with Halloween and all things dark and spooky in mind, I have a very exciting announcement to share with you all today. As I'm sure many of you know, I am one of the hosts of a book club called the Dark Academics Book Club. This is a club which I host alongside 4 other wonderful booktubers and also 4 of my closest friends. There is Carolyn, Lucy, Mary and Emma, and they are all absolutely incredible. I will link all of their channels down below so you can go and check them out and subscribe if you're not already, because like I said, I think they're brilliant. And earlier this year, we decided to come up with the concept for the Dark Academics Book Club, which is a book club that we all love so much. And essentially, it's just a really fun place to get together every single month, read a typically quite dark book, and then discuss it as a group. I know so many of you have been joining in with the book club, reading our picks, joining us on Discord, sharing updates on social media, and then joining in with our live shows. And if that is you and you have been joining in, I just wanted to extend a big thank you and just say how much I appreciate it, because the fact that so many of you are joining in really does make the experience even better. So I'm sure many of you know all the things that we have been getting up to during the last few months of Dark Academics Book Club fun, but if you haven't been joining in with the book club or you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, like I said, this is a monthly book club. We usually read 1 book per month. We have a Discord chat where we can all keep each other updated with our thoughts on the book throughout the month, and then at the end of each month, one of the hosts has a live show on their YouTube channel where we all get together, discuss all of our thoughts, and of course if you join in with us live, then you can ask questions and just share all of your opinions and ideas as well. So it's really fun, and we've read quite a range of books, everything from a Shakespearean dark academia to a retelling of the Trojan War and a proper classic haunted house Gothic story. So we've really delved into quite a lot of different things, but the main theme that sort of ties all of the books that we pick up together is that they usually tend to be on the darker side of literature. And so because of the fact that we all love all things dark, creepy, spooky, and just sort of mysterious so much, it's no surprise that we are all absolutely filled to the brim with excitement about the fact that it's almost Halloween. And we thought that October would be the perfect month to do a little something extra on top of our usual Dark Academics Book Club antics, and we've come up with the idea for the Dark Academics Halloweenathon. So the Halloweenathon is essentially a 2-week-long readathon which is taking place in the final 2 weeks of October. We're starting on the 17th of October, which is a Saturday, and then going all the way through until Halloween, which is of course the 31st of October, and that is also a Saturday. And because we're doing something a little bit extra for this month, we've decided that instead of having 1 book club pick, we're actually going to be reading 2 books together. Now of course it's completely up to you whether you want to read 1 book or both or neither and just join in with some of the other activities that we've got going on. But we thought it would be really fun to mix it up and have 2 books. You don't need to read both of these books in the last 2 weeks of October though. You can read them at any point during October, but you can also use them for some of the extra fun activities and prompts that we have planned for the final 2 weeks. So before I get into all of the fun prompts that we've come up with for the Halloweenathon, I'll just quickly go over the 2 books that we'll be reading for October in the Dark Academics Book Club. First up, and the one that I'm most excited about, is actually going to be a reread for me. It's a book that I read last year and very quickly made its way onto my favourite books list because I just absolutely fell in love with the story, the writing style, the characters, and basically just everything about this book. And that book is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I'm just so obsessed with the cover of this book, and actually before seeing the cover of this book I'd never heard of it. I then saw this cover in Waterstones and just couldn't resist picking it up, and I'm so glad that I did and that the cover pulled me in because it was incredible. I wouldn't necessarily describe this as a scary book, but it is a book which I think really encompasses the atmosphere of Halloween. It's set in quite a creepy old house, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding the family that this book focuses on, because we have a family which only has 3 surviving members, and all of the other members were killed in a poisoning incident, which has left a sort of air of darkness around the surviving members, and also a big mystery about who and why the person decided to poison the rest of their family. And so it's a really dark book, really interesting. It's also quite a bizarre book, and I feel like the writing style feels almost Alice in Wonderland-esque, because it really does just feel very odd, childlike, and yet sort of tinged with darkness in a way that is just so unnerving and so incredible. So that is our first pick for October, and I'm so excited to reread this one because I just loved it so much. And then the second book that we'll be picking up in October is a new book for me. It's one that I haven't read before, and that's going to be really fun, I think, because I'll be able to revisit an old favourite in the form of We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and then hopefully find a new favourite as well in this second book. Now, unfortunately, my copy of this second book hasn't yet arrived. It is due to arrive later on today, but because we're now heading into October and it's getting a little bit darker, I didn't want to wait until later in the day to film this video, so instead, you'll just have to make do with a picture of the cover somewhere here on the screen, but that book is going to be The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Don't know why I decided to do that in a French accent, but it's out there now. And so I really know very little about this book. I've never seen The Phantom of the Opera as like a musical. I've not really got any idea about what it's going to be about, so I'm going into this one completely blind, but I know it's a favourite of a lot of people, so I'm really excited to delve into it and hopefully really enjoy it. And it wouldn't be a readathon without some prompts, so as a book club, we've come up with 9 prompts to try and complete during the 2-week readathon. Some of these prompts are reading related and other ones are just more generally fun, Halloweeny, spooky activity related, so you've got a nice mix of things to do so you don't have to spend the entire 2 weeks reading. And of course, there is no pressure to complete all of these prompts. It's completely up to you how many of them you want to do, if any. But our wonderful and extremely talented resident illustrator, Carolyn, who is just absolutely so filled to the brim with talent that it's actually kind of unbelievable, has very lovingly transformed all of these prompts into a bingo board for you. So this bingo board will be found on all of our social media pages, on Instagram in particular, so you can save it yourself and try and tick them off and share your progress with us throughout the readathon at the end of October, which will be really fun, and I know we'll all be trying to do that as well. So the prompts are, first of all, to read a Gothic novel. Now this could be either of the 2 books that we've picked for our October books. You could either pick up We Have Always Lived in the Castle, The Phantom of the Opera, or any other Gothic novel that takes your fancy. Next up we have to watch a spooky book-to-movie adaptation, which I think will be really fun. Some of my favourite horror and spooky films are the ones that are book adaptations, and I've actually been intending to watch the movie adaptation of We Have Always Lived in the Castle, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so I think that might be the book to movie adaptation that I watch because I really want to see it. And I know that it also stars Taissa Farmiga, who is Violet from American Horror Story, if any of you have seen that, which I'm sure many of you have, and I really love her in that first season of American Horror Story, so I'm really hoping that I'll enjoy the movie adaptation of We Have Always Lived in the Castle as well. And then we have To Read by Candlelight, which I just think sounds so in keeping with the theme of dark academia. I can just imagine someone in their study with a candle, reading at the desk and just being like super academia-y, if that's even a word. I'm clearly not an academic because I'm using words that don't even exist. But either way, I can pretend for a moment by lighting a candle and reading a good book and just getting cozy by the candlelight. Then we have Trick or Treat, make yourself something sweet. So that could be an autumnal or Halloweeny beverage. Maybe you could make like toffee apples, pumpkin pie, absolutely anything really that you fancy. Make yourself a delicious sweet treat and just treat yourself to some time in the kitchen, either making a lovely beverage, doing some baking, or just doing anything else that allows you to make something sweet. Next up we have Read Our Group Book. So that one is a nice and easy one, and of course if you then decide to pick one of our group books for the Gothic book as well, then you'll tick off 2 things in one go, which is always really nice, because although it is a 2-week long readathon, I often find that when I'm juggling reading alongside work and other things, I don't have that much time to fit in loads of books, so we've tried to design these prompts to make sure that you don't have to read loads of books, but you can if you want to. So this next one is actually probably my favourite prompt on this bingo board because I just think it's going to be so much fun. It's not something to take too seriously, but it will just be really fun. And like I said, at the end of each month we have a live show on one of our YouTube channels. They always take place on the last Saturday of the month, and funnily enough in October the last Saturday of the month is the 31st, which is of course Halloween. And that means we will be concluding the Halloweenathon Readathon actually on Halloween itself, and we'll be having our live show for this month over on Mary's channel. And as always, the live show will be taking place at 7 p.m. British time or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or of course just convert that into whatever time zone you're in. And we thought we couldn't do a live show on Halloween itself, celebrating Halloween and concluding our Dark Academics Halloweenathon without using it as an excuse to get dressed up. So the next prompt on this bingo board is get dressed up for our Halloween live show. Now we will of course all be getting dressed up as well, and you'll be able to see what we come as when you actually join us for the live show, but it would be amazing if you wanted to get dressed up as well and then share your outfit with us on social media, tagging us on Instagram, and it would just be wonderful to see what you come as. I haven't yet decided what I'm going to be dressing up yet as, but I am going to be trying to find a literary character of some kind to theme my costume around, but I'm really excited to see what all of the other hosts come as, and also what all of you decide to dress up as, because it's been actually quite a while since I've dressed up for Halloween, and I think this is going to be so much fun. Next up we have a read a book with a supernatural theme. Now this could be again either of our two group books. The Phantom of the Opera of course focuses on phantoms, which I would say are supernatural, and then We Have Always Lived in the Castle, I'd say a little bit more up to your interpretation, but it is set in a creepy house, which definitely gives off some haunted house type vibes. So I'd say you could pick up either of them because it's just an overall supernaturally theme rather than having to be entirely about something supernatural. However, if you want to add extra books onto your TBR and you don't just want to read the two group books, then you could pick up any other book that has a supernatural theme, and I'll probably be trying to do that as well because I definitely want to read some creepy and supernatural books this October. Next up we have do a Halloween activity. Now this is entirely up to you because what you think a Halloween activity is completely down to your interpretation. You might have a Halloween tradition that you do every single year, or maybe this could be the year that you actually start a new tradition. Some of the things off the top of my head that you could do would be of course watching a spooky movie, which would allow you to tick off 2 prompts in one go because you could also watch a spooky book to movie adaptation. You could also do some Halloween baking, maybe making like gingerbread ghosts or a pumpkin pie. You could pumpkin carve, you could go apple bobbing. There are absolutely loads of things you could do, and of course I'm sure there are even more than I've just mentioned. So just do something Halloweeny and allow yourself to get into the spooky spirit. And then the final prompt for the Dark Academics Halloweenathon is to read a book with a dark cover. Now again, this is completely up to you. You could read either of our 2 books that we've picked for the month, because I know for certain that We Have Always Lived in the Castle is a dark cover, and I'm pretty sure The Phantom of the Opera is as well. But there are also hundreds and hundreds of other books with dark covers, and you don't even necessarily have to read a book which has dark themes, because there are plenty of books with dark covers that aren't necessarily dark in their subject matter and themes. So if you want to read something more lighthearted, then pick a book with a dark cover that is a little more fun and lighthearted and less spooky, or if you want to absolutely terrify yourself, find a horror that has a dark cover as well. There are so many options for this one, so just pick something that takes your fancy. And those are all of the prompts that we have for the Dark Academics Halloweenathon, and I'm honestly so excited about this because I think it's going to be so much fun and such a wonderful way to share the spooky season and the Halloween spirit together as a book club. So just to summarise, the Dark Academics Halloweenathon Readathon is taking place between Saturday the 17th of October and Saturday the 31st of October, so the final 2 weeks of the month. Our 2 October group books are We Have Always Lived in the Castle and The Phantom of the Opera. And although the readathon is taking place in the final 2 weeks of the month, those are the group books for the entirety of October, so you can read them at any point throughout the month. Although if you are wanting to use them for your readathon prompts, then you might need to save them for the last 2 weeks. And like I said, we have a Discord chat where we like to chat about all of our books and thoughts on them throughout the month, so there will be a Halloweenathon section in our Discord chat, and I will leave the link for that Discord down below so you can come and join us if you're not there already. And the live show for this month, as I've mentioned, will be taking place on Halloween itself on Saturday the 31st of October over on Mary's channel, 7 p.m. British time and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All of the information I've mentioned today will be down in the description box down below, alongside the links for my wonderful co-hosts who I think you should absolutely check out and subscribe to. So without further ado, I am so excited about this readathon. I cannot wait to get spooky with all of you and just enjoy these dark books and doing Halloweeny activities throughout the last couple of weeks of October. I hope you're as excited about this readathon as I am, and as all of the other hosts of the Dark Academics Book Club are, because honestly, we just cannot wait to share this with all of you. If you're going to be joining in, definitely let me know down below. I'd love to know if you're going to be taking part and if you already have some books in mind for the prompts that you want to pick up. So without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your first day of spooky season, and I'll see you next time.